1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi, we are Pretty Proverbs, and we want to talk to you today about creating relationships on purpose.
Sometimes as new Christians or people who are fairly new in their relationship with Christ face one of the biggest adversities that even non-believers face, and that's creating relationships.
So we just have a few tips for you today, especially stories about how we created the relationships that we have and how we're continuing to do those. Number one, I want to say link up with people that have the same goal that you do spiritually. You link up with people that want to live for Christ and that want to please Christ. That's one of the biggest things. If y'all don't have the same goal in mind, there's really no purpose in developing that relationship.
I know for me personally, it was really hard to link up with other people who wanted to do what I do, because it's like I was joining something that really wasn't the norm. However, I noticed that without those relationships and that extra push or that extra accountability, it was really easy for me to fall off track.
That's why we truly want Pretty Proverbs to be the platform for the virtuous woman. Get to know some of the girls that are members of the site. Reach out and say, hey, I see that you're a Christian. I was wondering, especially if they're where you are, I was wondering, if we could at least just start, Facebooking and then texting and link up. There are people out there who want to live for Christ just as you do. Number two, I wanted to say also develop a relationship with someone that is already where you want to be spiritually. So something like a mentor.
I think a mentor friendship or relationship is very vital, because when you're kind of new at this, you don't know it all, you don't know everything. I mean, we're fairly young, so we're not going to know every aspect and the do's and don'ts. However, that's where that mentor comes in. If you have advice, or if you not advice, but if you have questions or concerns about, hey, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I want to do, I don't know if this is really the right thing to do, that mentor will definitely come in handy. They're somebody that you can go to who has really wise counsel.
The issue with not having somebody that's where you want to be spiritually is, if I know, for example, that we're struggling with the same thing, she can't help me. We'll fall the same way. So it's very important to develop a relationship with somebody that is where you want to be. The last thing is, you're going to have to cut some people out. Not everyone that is around you is good for you. If they are not helping you, they're pretty much bringing you down. Unless you want to stay where you are, if they're not willing to change, they gotta go. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to say, hey, you're not good for me, but say, look, I have a goal in mind. You're not really helping me with that, so I'm gonna have to, cut my time with you.
Now, we're not saying kick all your friends to the curb, because this is a process and everybody's not ready to make that initial step that you've already made. However, they should be supportive in that decision. If they're, not encouraging you, hey, I'm not ready for this, but I see that you're really trying to do the right thing, I support you, they're not going to encourage you to take that drink. They're not going to encourage you to go to that place you feel uncomfortable at. But instead, they're going to be encouraging you, hey, I see you want to do the right thing and I support that. And then next thing you know, they'll be wanting to do the same thing.
A last thing, when you get to where, and this is not saying that when you're perfect, because it's not going to happen, but when you get to where you're comfortable in your walk and you feel that you're strong enough to do this, help somebody else, pull somebody else along. That's where your unsaved friends come in. Your life can be a witness to them that, okay, I really can live for Christ. I really can do this. This is not above me. Help somebody else. Get to talking to them and share with them what you learned in service and things like that.
I know sometimes the biggest thing before you jump into quote unquote being a Christian, some people feel like, oh, I have to get ready, or I'm not, I have to prepare myself for this. Well, if in that friendship that you're helping somebody else, they're seeing that, wow, she came from a similar background that I came from, so if she can do it, I know I can do it. And then by you witnessing and letting them know, hey, this is what I've learned about Christ and this is how he helped me, they're definitely going to want to jump on board.
I want to remind you that salvation does not equal perfection, and God is not asking for perfection. But remember that those friendships that you develop with those people that have the same goal that you do can aid in your walk with Christ. So start developing those relationships.